The inaugural Space Summit 2026 is underway here in Singapore, where the theme of a responsible and inclusive space future is taking center stage. Leaders from across government, industry and academia are gathering to discuss new opportunities for growth, innovation and international partnerships. And for more, let's cross over to Julie Yu, reporting from the summit. Julie?
Yeah, Paul, thank you. You know, space may be the final frontier, but certainly becoming one of the most dynamic and contested domains on Earth. With more countries and companies entering orbit, the stakes for space have never been higher. To explore what this all means for the region, security, and global competition, I'm joined by Michael Schoellhorn, who's the CEO of Airbus Defence and Space. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Thank you, Julie.
Great to have you here. The space landscape is changing rapidly. We got new companies, new technologies, rising geopolitical tensions between countries that are seeking success in space. So I wonder, why is this moment pivotal for space decision makers?
Well, in fact, it is. If we look back a little bit in the 20th century, space was about prestige, was about showing technological prowess. Then came telecommunications. Now we're talking critical infrastructure. A lot of things that have to work in a modern society, a modern economy, do not work if you don't have space. There will not be any finance, any banking won't be possible, navigation, Earth observation, climate research, and national security. All of this depends on space. And as we know, and when we look outside the window, the geopolitical situation is certainly driving this situation to really have many countries, big and small, recognize how important space is.
Yeah, you talked about big and small countries, and also that more players should be involved in space. But reality is, global space economy is dominated by big, wealthy countries. So for smaller countries like Singapore and Asia, what sort of roles can we meaningfully play? What do you see as the biggest opportunities?
Well, there's a reason why we as Airbus, as a company that has been doing space since 50 years, have selected Singapore as one of our tech hubs around the globe, because Singapore is very advanced when it comes to digital. Space is, if you will, a data generation machine, and you need to do something with the data. So that really speaks for us. Singapore, there's a huge tech pool of people, very talented people. There's a good economic growth. There is all the factors that you need to be successful in space. And Singapore has really shown how to develop from a, let's say, consumer of space services and space products to becoming a leading nation by developing its own industry, by tapping into international corporations, especially with us. We work extremely well together with ST Engineering and with Austin. And this also has helped build an ecosystem in Singapore that I think is unique.
Okay, so we talked about the opportunities. I want to talk about maybe risks, because as space gets crowded with thousands of satellites and debris, it's becoming more of a contested and strategic domain. We're hearing reports of cyber attack, jamming, and anti-satellite weapons. Just how real are these threats to global security and stability? And are current defense ready for it?
Well, the very short answer will be very real. What you described is happening in space every day. Because it's become so important, because it's become such a critical infrastructure, it also makes it a target of attacks. We do see a lot of cyber attacks. We see what some people call dog fights in space. So satellites are being shadowed, if you will, are being inspected by satellites of other nations. It is a contested domain for military purposes. And the other threat that you mentioned is just as real, especially in the LEO orbit. We have more and more satellites up there driven by constellations. So at some point in time, this will lead to congestion, and we need good traffic management, if you will. So all these threats combined provide for quite a level of, I would say, attention that this needs to be.
Yeah, and to solve that, we need collaboration, don't we? I mean, you stressed that the Europeans are a bit fragmented when it comes to defense and procurement. Do you think the same mistake is happening in the Asia Pacific? Like, the urgency isn't there?
I think the urgency is there. I mean, even Europe is getting our act together, I would say, in defense, coming more together, seeing the threat that we're under. seen the competition of the superpowers, that Europe doesn't want to be crushed in between and doesn't want any one-sided or unilateral dependencies. I think the same holds for many nations in Asia that pivot a bit away from one-sided partnerships and look for more partners to be a bit more balanced. I think this happens in several countries in Asia, and that is what I would also recommend to everybody. And Europe has, I think, a unique offering in the sense that we don't want to dominate. We want to partner. We want to build long-term relationships.
So for Asia Pacific countries, where should they be investing now?
Well, many fields, but definitely space and adjacent fields like AI, digitalization, smart cities, all this belongs together, and defense, I would say, and security belongs to it too. So,
okay. Before we let you go, Airbus is restructuring its space business. I understand you're expanding here in Asia as well. Any big plans or projects that we should be looking out for?
There is a lot of projects that I can't speak about at this point in time, but we are collaborating, as I said before, with ST Engineering around radar constellations that will give unique capabilities to Singapore, and other things on the making.
Okay, looking forward to it, Michael. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I've been speaking to Michael Schoellhorn, CEO of Airbus Defence and Space. And the Space Summit is very much underway here in Singapore. I get more insights from Laurent Jafar of the European Space Agency, Dr. Pawan Goenka of InSpace in India, and Dr. Zhang Hui of the Asia Pacific Space Cooperation Organization coming up later in the day. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Julie. Julie Yu there live from the Space Summit in Singapore.